Greetings to you. I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation, and I see some of you have been binge watching. At least that's what you tell me you're doing, and I'm very glad of that. This topic is, why do married couples grow apart? And this is just for men. This is not for women. Of course, women can watch and listen to this also, but I'm going to describe this to men because really what you're asking is, why is my wife kind of drifting away from me? What's going on here? How come I don't feel what I used to feel for her? The passion's gone, the fire's gone. There's a lot of manifestations, and we're going to talk about it and give you, as a man, certain things that you can think about and do, more importantly. So I'll start off by saying that our approach is very different from everyone else's. If you've been watching other videos or if you've gone to marriage counseling with a Western therapist, then you will realize pretty quickly what I'm talking about. Because what we do here at the Marriage Foundation is we heal marriages first with an understanding that it isn't really your fault, it isn't your wife's fault. It's because we're not taught about marriage, we're not taught about ourselves, we're not taught about so many things in our society. Technologically, we seem to be moving pretty quickly, but as human beings, we're not. So, I mean, my wife and I were talking about that today. In the world, most people, a really deep discussion would be about, well, do you think you have a soul or not? That's a deep discussion. And I know many clergy because I started this almost 23 years ago, so I've met many clergy, many therapists, and I have these deep discussions. And it's ironic because most clergy don't ask that question correctly either. The question that they should be asking is, how do I, as a soul, manage my mind and my body? Not, do I have a soul? You don't have a soul. You are a soul. What you have is a mind and a body. So you see, we're off already. And if you think about that even for a minute, you realize that's the truth. It's so obvious when you think about it. And the clergy who I speak with, when I tell them that, oftentimes I get a, whoa, that's true. Now marriage, sex, all these topics are just totally misunderstood in our society. And I'm not just talking about Western society, the whole globe. We're primitive. We are. Human beings are not really well advanced. And it's okay. This is not a condemnation. It's not a put down. It's just a fact. I love Star Trek, and they always refer to pre-warp societies. Of course, they miss the point. It's all about technology there, but what about pre-understanding societies? And that's where we are now. So marriage is misunderstood. Sex is misunderstood. So of course, if you don't understand marriage, then you don't know what to do to make your marriage improve constantly, which is what it's designed for. And so there's this drifting apart. Why do you grow apart? So let's begin with what marriage is. Marriage is an individual's spiritual path that you take with your soulmate. We try to make marriage this dance. We have metaphors for marriage, and they're not true. It's an individual spiritual path. Why is it an individual spiritual path, you may ask? And the reason why is because the spiritual path is all about, it's about finding God, but really it's about a personal evolution towards love. Love is the ultimate. Happiness, which is why we seek love. And so that's why marriage is an individual spiritual path, because we're trying to evolve towards happiness and love. We get married because we fall in love, and we get married because we want to be happy. We want to live in harmony with our soulmate. That's true. Now, along the lines of a spiritual path, there is the reality that we have a lot of inner cleaning up to do. We have to clean out our mind's habits of reactions that are not thought through. One of the techniques that we have in our course for men and our course for women, it's called the SO technique, and it's all about stopping and evaluating, is this thought me? Is this who I really am? Because we have a lot of reactions that are not really who we see ourselves as. So I'm going to come back to the point of why you're drifting apart, but I'm moving towards that. So stay with me, okay? Now, what happens is, because you have not been cultivating love for your wife, I'm going to put it all on you, even though it's not all on you. But we have free will. You can't make your wife do anything. You can only make yourself do something. So I'm going to give you the things to do. So on the most surface, are you behaving with your wife the way you did when you were dating her, when she wasn't your wife, when she was just starting out to be your girlfriend? I know the answer is no. It's a rhetorical question. You're not as kind, patient, understanding. You don't listen as well. You don't smile towards her. Now you probably argue with her. You never would have argued with her. You let her have her own perspective, her own point of view without comment. So even on that most surfacey level, you behaved in a way that was attractive for her to come to you and she with you. And you stopped doing that. Now, you can make excuses. You could say, well, yeah, that's what happens. That's the way she's been treating me. And what happens in my first book, my second book is called Breaking the Cycle. Because that's true. There's this tit for tat exchange. And what happens is it's a descending cycle into misery, into suffering, where your soulmate has become your cellmate. So you got to start by evaluating your behavior with her and understand that what you're doing is you're putting your desires for your comfort ahead of your desire for her comfort. You're not pleasing her anymore. You're not even trying to please her anymore. And when you do, it's reluctant. It's not because you want to, it's because you're frustrated and you can't do anything else. And that's not going to work. I'm going to create a contrast now. The contrast between a great marriage and your marriage. A great marriage is one in which you wake up in the morning and you go, wow, I totally love her. I'm so grateful to be with her. Oh my God. And when you touch her, it's not to have sex with her, it's because you love her and you're reaching out to touch her. That's a great marriage. When you go to sleep at night, you just want to hold her. You don't necessarily want to have sex with her. No, sex is okay. Don't misunderstand. But I'm talking about the motivation here. Your motivation in a great marriage is selfless. It's not selfish. And you have to draw that line. There's a big distinction. And so everything that you do in marriage, when you have a great marriage, is to please your wife. Now, if she were coming, because I have a video like this, it's why do married couples grow apart for women? And I tell them pretty much the same way. But again, you cannot control your spouse, but there is this law of cause and effect. So if you take it all on, over time, she will start to trust you more, move closer to you, and you'll start to have what you originally wanted, you see. So that's what it's all about. loving your wife unconditionally. We get married, back to the spiritual path, to learn to love unconditionally, because that's the ultimate. Then we are the soul. Not the mind, not the body. We're the soul, because the soul's all about love and joy. And so learn to love unconditionally. Use that free will to control your thoughts rather than be controlled by your whims, your thoughts, your instincts, and all that. Take charge. And then everything changes. And so there's the answer to the question of why do people drift apart. Basically, it's because nobody knows how to be married. What do you do about it? Well, you learn how to be married. So you watch these videos, sure, like this one, by the way. You watch these videos, get one of my books, or get the Course for Men. There are solutions with us. The other solutions that other people have, frankly, don't work. So I'm not bragging or anything, but I started out different. I was a divorce mediator, believe it or not. And I had a couple ask me to help them save their marriage. And so I had to dive deep into marriage, not from a Western psychological point of view, which is all about find and fix, but about how do we achieve the ultimate marriage. That's how you fix your marriage, by working towards the ultimate marriage, not fixing the things that are broken, because there's too many things broken anyway. So that's what we do. That's what we do at the Marriage Foundation. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. And really, like the video, leave a comment if you want. Come visit again. Go to our website. We have these 10 most important do's and don'ts. It's a free download. Go for that too. Again, God bless you. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope this helped you. It should. Take care.